It's Saturday, October 30th, 2010. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
Stability is a tremendous asset to have, especially when you're going through a time of transition. For the New York Yankees, they've reached a pivotal point in their franchise's future where some iconic names may be given their walking papers. As a result, you need a man at the helm of your organization who can provide a calm sense of direction and leadership during this time of uncertainty. And for the Yankees, that man is manager Joe Girardi. Girardi and the Yankees have agreed on a new 3-year contract worth $9 million with $500,000 in incentives if the Yankees win the World Series. Girardi's original contract was worth $7.8 million and it was set to expire on Sunday. His new deal will keep him the manager of the Pinstripes through the 2013 season and also puts him among the 5 highest paid managers in all of baseball. In his 3 seasons in the Big Apple, Girardi has a record of .287 and .199, a .591 winning percentage, which includes a 2009 World Series championship and a trip to the 2010 American League Championship Series, where the Yankees lost in 6 games to the Texas Rangers. Girardi has also been named Manager of the Year. He accomplished the feat in 2006, his rookie season as a manager, when he was managing the Florida Marlins. Earlier this season, speculation began to mount that Girardi's next destination would be Wrigley Field to replace the retiring Lou Piniella. However, Girardi told Yankees general manager Brian Cashman that he had no interest in replacing Piniella because he had too many good things going on in New York to be interested in that. The Cubs eventually replaced Piniella earlier this month with third base coach Mike Quati. The next order of business for Girardi and Cashman is to find a pitching coach to replace the fired Dave Island. Also on Cashman's agenda this offseason is negotiating deals with veteran mainstays Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, and Andy Pettitte. During their post-mortem news conference on Tuesday, both Cashman and Girardi talked about the future of the team, free agency, and what they need to do to ensure future success moving forward.
I've made one change in the coaching staff. I'm not going to be bringing Dave Allen back, so I've informed Dave, and it has nothing to do with what took place in the playoffs. Just think as we move forward, we're going to make a change there, so he's not being blamed for what took place and how bad we pitched. I can honestly tell you that. So I hope you believe me on that, but I can't control what you choose to believe, but that's the truth. But as we move forward, we're making a change. I got a meeting with Steve Mandel tomorrow. He's Joe's representative. So obviously the first order of business is our manager, and that should work out fine. I mean, I know Joe wants to stay, and we'd like to retain him, so that should create an environment we can work through rather quickly. And then after that, obviously, we'll focus on the entire coaching staff, and especially that vacancy.
Given Jeter and Rivera, you've been very vocal. You want them both back. They'll be back because you have this extra time now. How optimistic are you to complete those deals before they enter free agency?
Well, like Joe Girardi, as I spoke to earlier, the intent for the organization is to have them back. We want them back. The intent of the players is to stay. They don't want to be anywhere else. That creates a great atmosphere of getting something done. If a player wants to be here and we want to keep them, and it's the discussions are fair and legitimate, it gets done. If things don't work out that way, that means that one side sees it differently than the other, and then it can drag out, and that's also possible too. So, but listen, at the end of the day, I just think the recipe's all there for positive relationships to continue.
For about 5 months, we played pretty well. We did, and we seemed to get in trouble in the month of September a little bit. And if you have Andy, does it look different in the month of September with our rotation intact and the innings limitation to Husey had something? We won't have to deal with that next year. But obviously, to me, the focus is always starting pitching first and foremost, and then you go from there. You optimistically talked about maybe Derek will hit 325 next year. Have you sort of gotten to the point mentally, though, is if this is the beginning of a fade, what it will be like having to manage the fade of that kind of iconic player? As a manager, when you sit down and think about things like, that it's possibly going to happen. You do. You don't necessarily think it's going to happen tomorrow. That's the thing that I still believe that Derek can play at an extremely high level and be the player that he's been. But eventually it happens to all of them. But, I mean, that's something that you have to deal with. And it's something that you have to be sensitive to and that you have to evaluate and understand how much guys love to play this game. And that's not easy for players to deal with necessarily.
Assuming you're back, does this team need to be younger next year, or does this core group, which will all be a year older next year, have another run in it?
I thought we got younger from 09 to 10. Our outfield I wouldn't consider our outfield old. I wouldn't consider our first or second baseman old. And, I joked with Jason, should I use this line or not? I mean, we're all getting older in here. And, we all still feel that we can do it. Now, maybe we can't quite do it at the same pace as we once did, but I think we can all still do it. And I think our players can do it too, but maybe not quite at the same pace they did when they were 25 years old. And that's something, as a manager, you have to evaluate, and where your bench becomes extremely important. Where if a guy does get a day off, you don't feel like there's a huge drop-off, which you would think that our division is going to be extremely tough, and every game counts.
With so much uncertainty running rampant throughout the Yankees clubhouse this offseason, it was imperative they bring back a steady and calm leader to help lead the troops through this time of transition. Bringing back Girardi was the easiest and most convenient decision that Cashman will ever have to make this offseason. Now the real work begins for the pair, because it's possible that they'll have to reshape this roster and say goodbye to some iconic Yankee figures, which may be a difficult pill for fans to swallow. With that being said, the two are now joined at the hip because, after all, they're in this together, and everyone who follows the pinstripes is never far behind with an opinion, so we'll see if those two can get the job done in this city that never sleeps. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat, report.